We are. Aloha, everyone. Welcome to this Monday edition of Facebook Live. It is April 4th. and I'm joined today by, of course, Danny Gardner. Aloha, Danny. It's always good to see
Aloha.
you.
Good morning.
And Danny, you brought a friend today.
I did.
And your
Micah.
friend, Micah Gauthier. Aloha, Micah. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Michael, you are part of Mental Restorations Foundation.
Correct. So we're an activities-based nonprofit group, and we found that for myself, a disabled veteran, activities actually save lives. So we promote fishing, canoeing, hiking, farming, all different type of activities to keep the space between our ears occupied. And it also builds up our networking and our community. So it's been a big asset, but we're still a very young nonprofit, and being here on the outer islands, we kind of treated like stepchildren, you know.
Yeah.
But it's been a blessing. We've had some big outings and getting people out on the water. The ocean is a huge, huge healer, and we were talking about surfing just before this, and you know it. You know the just sitting in science has proved if you sit next to waves coming in and just the motion of them breaking, there's a healing property in
Yeah,
there. And there you go. There you go.
this book blew my mind.
Mind.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one of the big activities that we push for is, getting out on the water. And a couple other things that I do for myself is I've got involved with a group called TEAM, and the acronyms is Transition Empowerment something. It was developed by a veteran, an Army veteran, John Sterling. And I've been involved with Team for about 2 years now. What it is it's just a weekly Zoom call. And it's open to all veterans, professional athletes, current and former. So Buddy Curry's on the calls for those people that are Atlanta Falcon fans. He was a linebacker for the Atlanta Falcons, super nice guy. And then we also have professionals in the field. We got professionals working with incarcerated veterans. We got, mental health. We've all over the spectrum. And I have found that if I miss one of these calls, something's lacking in my life. You can feel the void. And it's been a huge asset. For example, my dad is a retired subsailor. He did 20 plus years in the Navy, and he was a radioman. So he was sworn to secrecy. And a lot of things that are coming out now that are, public records and so forth, I get to find out that he was involved in some of these things. And I'm just like, but we've had a challenge with getting his disability ratings. And through this team call, I was referred to Dr. Lewis, and she is a retired naval medical officer. She has her own nonprofit, and now just last week, my dad was awarded his 90% disability, and they're working on getting his full 100%. But there's so many things that we're not aware we even have, and so this networking opens up. It brings us some light and some hope. It also gives us some accountability. Just like my feelings of I've got to be there every week. I feel like I'm a part of something again, and I think that's key. You don't when you get on, you don't have to be the spokesperson for anything. You can just listen. You can interject. You can use the chat feature. It's been a lifesaver. It's huge.
Wow.
So we tie that in, and I got some other ideas because we also work with first responders, and the veterans. We've got a broken VA system, but we got one. First responders don't have anything, and the average suicide right now that's published is 22 veterans committing suicide a day, and I believe the stats are actually higher, but that's what's published. But when we investigate the highest casualties to suicide right now, it's our EMTs. And these first responders, they don't have the the broken VA system to go to. So we're opening the doors to them as well. And what we find is that just like when we were active duty, the fear, if you've got something going on between your ears, if it gets up the chain of command, you could lose a stripe, you could be, put at a desk. And so a lot of these people are afraid of that, especially law enforcement. So we've been trying to develop another idea where we get law enforcement around the country to participate in a Zoom call. And there's no channels to the chain of command, and they can speak freely, create a safe place for them. But we're still trying to get that moving.
That's an excellent idea. Boy, so many needs that you're trying to address simultaneously, Micah. It's wow. And the team, that group that you're part of, how does that fit with your work at Mental Restorations Foundation? What's something that you would want our viewers to know about your work there?
Well, as far as a team relationship, it's given me a lot of resources. And a recent example is, and Danny helped on this one. We had a Marine veteran whose house was torched. It burnt down. And, the local community, Danny included, has been gathering items to donate to him. But when I reach out to team, then I find out Dr. Lewis, hey, have him call this number, have him do this, have him do that. Let's get an increase in his disabilities. Let's get him the housing. Let's get him hooked up with so we're, it took an ugly event in order to find these things, but we present the opportunity. And, Mental Restorations Foundations has been the medium. We've got a current fundraiser. We've had a previous fundraiser. And like I said, we're a very small nonprofit, but when we get these funds in, they're going out. And I'm really proud of that, of our group, that none of us are on payroll. We're all volunteers. We would like to have paid positions, but they're going to be realistic. I can't stand these nonprofits that you find their CEOs making, just thousands and thousands of dollars, and only a small percentage of their intake is really going to their mission statement. Mm-hmm. So I take a lot of pride that majority, it kind of hurts too, but the majority of our funds are going out. And yeah, it's huge. We get to help out. We're helping out people in so many different ways, and financially with material items that come in. Once we find a location where we can house, we'll start an Amazon gifting program going on like we did with the lava relief. Yeah, there's so many opportunities. And if anyone wants to get involved, they can. And our mission, our target group are veterans, first responders, active duty, and family of. And the family of everybody knows somebody that wore a uniform. So everybody can get involved.
That's right. That's absolutely.
I don't know if I answered the question. I just rambled on.
How's about both? And it was all good. Because yeah, this is a wonderful opportunity for folks to learn about your organization and team and be able to address these very real needs. I mean, there's no doubt that we've known for a long time that military folk need support. Coming back from active duty can be very difficult, without a doubt, even though the military has instituted transition programs to try to help people reintegrate. So it's better than it was, without a doubt.
True.
But like you highlighted, this really important issue of first responders not necessarily having even a badge system to work with. That's really tragic.
Yeah, and they carry so much weight, I really feel for law enforcement because, half the crowd hates them, half the crowd loves them. And they're the first on the scene. And they have no idea what they're walking into. And they've seen, we've had them on the boat where I've got to overhear stories and I'm just like, oh my God, I had no idea. One of my board members, he's a retired state trooper from Alaska. And, it's interesting when you get to know these law enforcement, they kind of live in this black and white world. And this is legal, that's not legal. You're not so much human anymore. And, you know, this guy, Ken, he was like, if you need somebody to love and coddle and I'm not the guy, you know, I'm just, and he understood that his job changed him. And we had him on the back of the boat with a combat veteran, and they're both wearing shorts and they're looking at each other's legs. And the combat veteran says to him, man, those look like shrapnel wounds. And he's like, oh yeah, I got plenty of them. He goes, why do you got shrapnel wounds? You're in law enforcement. Well, I've gotten blown up 4 or 5 times from people setting up booby traps. And you know, then they start talking about how many times you were stabbed and how many times you were shot. And it was just like, wow. But both of them said after this conversation, I've never shared this with anyone.
Oh, wow.
And that's where the healing starts. And then I got to spend a lot of time with Ken after that. And he just started talking about experiences. And he would, I don't know why I'm telling you this, you know, but it's just coming out. And it, you know, it's a beautiful seeing the healing process and coming back to humanity. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's right. That's it right there, isn't it? You just hit the nail on the head, coming back to humanity, because that's what you can really lose in those professions.
Absolutely.
And it's an adaptive thing. I mean, you have to, otherwise you wouldn't be able to do that job very well.
Right.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow, Micah. Danny, do you have any questions or comments for Micah or anybody?
I don't. I happened to stumble upon mental restorations by accident because I belong on a Facebook page. And I think it was one of the best accidents, you know, so far, because it's something I want to be a part of. I'm big on the community. I help a lot of people get their homes together if something's been damaged. Or, you know, people ask for simple things that aren't very costly. It doesn't take much just to help out a neighbor. So I love it's a buy nothing page on Facebook. And that's how Micah and I met. I saw his ad and I started collecting carloads of stuff.
Yeah.
But I definitely, you know, want to be more active in the organization because it fits my morals. It fits where I want to be. It fits where I want to stand and not necessarily have a voice. So I'm really excited about all this. And, you know, anybody who asks, how can I be a part of this? They're on Facebook. There's also the website. I don't know if you can type it into the chat.
Let's see.
Put all that contact information in there at shortly after we're done here. I'll go ahead and take care of that. You just get that all to me, Micah, and we'll get it to our viewers.
Yeah, and we do have like currently we've got a Facebook fundraiser going on. Len Pagan that owns Academy Mortgage here. He's a Marine veteran. He's done quite well. He's joined us on a couple of our hikes and outings and so forth. But he's got he said, hey, I want to match up to $1,000 this month for you guys. Okay. And it's very cool. And it also, you know, he's a Marine veteran, so it gets him talking again and involved in the ranks. So that's great. We also have an upcoming car cruise because we, you know, part of this thing is we restore these boats, we restore cars. So we got a car cruise. We had our first car show back in January, and we're going to try to have 2 more this year. So we're going to call that Mental Metal. And it's not so much a club, but we want to get the cruise going on and get the social stuff, you know, interaction. And that's where we find a lot of our Vietnam era veterans. They've got some beautiful cars. The last car show, some of the prize winners was a Vietnam veteran and his son, who's also a veteran of our current opportunities. And they both restored a vehicle together. And it was just like that. It's a bonding thing, and then they're out there showing it off, and it's so cool. So that's another thing we got. And one of our big goals is we're going to eventually have a farm location, and on the farm location we're going to have our farming. We do a lot of raised bed gardening, so we don't have to bend over. We're going to have aquaponics, hydroponics, stuff like that, but we're also going to have a great big barn, and a barn where we can do automotive, boat restoration, wood shop, metal shop, another area for culinary. These are all things that help with our mind space. But the other thing is our bodies, like my body doesn't do too well with these things. I got the skill set, but the body doesn't work anymore.
Mm.
Our youth, they don't have the skill set, but their bodies work. So we bring in the youth, and we're going to teach them the trades to where they can make livable wages on island,
Wow.
and that don't have to go to the mainland. And now Big Island's just like the other islands. If you go to the mainland to make money, and the family sells a home while you're gone, coming home is all, in some cases, it's impossible.
Oh my goodness.
So if we can help to alleviate that, we're doing it.
That's a fantastic thing, without a doubt. That brain drain that you just described of losing our population to the mainland
Yeah.
is a very real issue.
Yes.
So, wow. Mike, I can't thank you enough for creating these opportunities for veterans, first responders, the youth. It all sounds so good.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of partners that we partner up with. We got Friends of First Responders. We got Aloha Elio Pet Rescue. My dog that you heard at the beginning of the call, we rescued her about 2 months ago, and she can be a therapeutic dog at this point. But another goal with that is we want to bring in a certified trainer to get these rescued animals to a service level, and that's another goal. Kona Style over on the other side of the island, they help us out with their double hull catamaran, which we can get 36 people on. But they also have educational opportunities, and they did it for the youth during the COVID so they could stay afloat, pun intended. But teaching them about the opa'as and the different names and everything. And I'm like, as an adult, I would love to learn these things. So we're going to have that educational opportunity, and the ocean is also part of our agriculture. So tying it all in. But we are looking for people to join on. Like, we need the minds that can help us keep moving forward. Grant writers and all those things.
Oh yeah. Well, we're going to put your contact information in the chat here
Cool.
when we get that. And Danni, any closing comments?
Not really. I think it's such a great organization because it focuses on groups that haven't really been acknowledged. It focuses on keeping the talent here, kind of like what we're trying to do with HIAMFT, with the associate licensing, keeping the homegrown educated therapists here. So, I would love to maybe chat in the near future and see how we can collaborate, with each other more.
Yeah,
And I think we
absolutely.
can. I think
Yeah,
we can.
and we want to set up. We're focused primarily on peer-to-peer support, so you can speak freely, but we want access to our professionals,
Sure.
and we want to have our professionals involved in our activities, but not put them in a position to where, oh, I got to report this or something. We don't want that. So if there is an opportunity, we want to get all of our professionals out on the boat with other professionals.
Mm.
And so they got a safe environment, because they're, you guys in the mental health field that do this for a living, I really salute you guys, because listening daily and feeling it, there's a great, that's a big exertion. And, at the end of the day, who wants to check on, after doing that, who wants to check on their own mental health? So you guys are very important. And we would love to have gatherings where you guys pick a topic to discuss. And if our members, if anyone wants to come to that individual afterwards, that's their business. But they know that they exist, and they know that they have access to it. And we've utilized that in the past. We had a member whose sister was missing in LA, and he was just freaking out. And we had a couple professionals step up and say, hey, dude, let's talk. No charge, no nothing. And it was like, it's cool. So I totally know we're going to be able to get some things going on. And what I love about you guys in mental health, when I refer someone, I never know it unless the person tells me. So that's very cool.
Isn't that great? Amazing conversation. Well, Danni, thank you so much for making this connection, and Micah for accepting the invitation and sharing about your organization. we're going to go ahead and wrap up for today. But if you have further questions for Micah or for HIAMFT, just go ahead and reach out to us. Until next week, Micah, I'm looking forward to connecting again in the not too distant future. But would you be willing to come back sometime?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, let's
Yeah.
do
Maybe
that.
we can do one of these meetings from a boat,
Oh man, that would be so incredible.
right? I was on a Zoom meeting once and I had to put it on mute because we were reeling in a 160-pound ahi. It was great.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
All right, let's definitely keep that in mind. All right,
Cool.
everyone. Well,
Thanks
thank
for
you for
having me.
being here today. Mahalo and aloha. We'll see you next time.
Aloha.